Morning. Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center, where we know nothing happens by chance, that every single one of us is here by a divine appointment. We heard the call and we answered. Before they call, I will answer, and while they're yet speaking, I will hear. That is the energy within us that guides and directs us. For those of you who are tuning in, this message is for you, because today, as we open the space to allow God to do what God does best, it's so interesting that He works. We always get the message, and those messages come not necessarily as we visualized and pictured them. So today, as we look, my message today is resting under the Bodhi tree. And we know that Lord Buddha started out as Siddhartha, and that he was born into a palace, he was a prince, he was a child of privilege, that his father tried to protect him. He built walls all around the palace so that he would never go out and he would always be there. And it's so interesting because his mother, legend has it, that his mother had a vision when she was with child. And the vision was a white elephant with 6 tusks. And the elephant spoke and said, "You will have the enlightened master." And other seers came to the palace and would share this message with the king. And it was not a message he wanted to hear at all, because he envisioned his son taking over and being a great king, not a holy man. So it's so interesting that when we come into the world, we have a destiny to fulfill, and that we listen to the energies that are around us and the invisible energy, because we always have an invisible means of support. And that the legend goes on that after 10 months that he came out of the womb and walked, and everywhere he walked, a lotus appeared and went before him. Energetically, know that each of us is 1,000-petal lotus, that we are opening to energetically to the truth of our being. We come in, I believe, knowing this. So when we look at the opportunity that we have to really empower ourselves through the art of non-resistance, the art of balance, the recognition that I am in the world and not that I am of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency, and that when we get caught up in the ways of the world, when we get caught up, stressed out, and all this stuff we're all subject to, because that's a human condition. So when we feel ourselves doing that, that should be a signal to go within, to rest under the Bodhi tree, to become enlightened. But if you recall the story of Lord Buddha, when he rested under the Bodhi tree, all of the ego stuff came up. Maya came up and offered economics and amazing things, and all of these things came, and Siddhartha remained unmoved. It's like the psalmist, "I'm in a high place, and I will not come down. None of us out here move me." Now, there is a very beautiful story about a wise woman. She was mountain climbing, and she stepped into it, and she saw the most beautiful white jewel that she had ever seen. Now, you may wonder what a diamond is. Just remember, it's a piece of coal did good pressure, okay? That's what a diamond is. So she took the gem, she put it in her bag, and there was a traveler, a very hungry traveler that came through, and she saw that he was hungry, and she offered him some food. When she opened the bag, he saw this amazing jewel. He took the food, he ate it, and then he asked her if he could have this priceless gem. Without hesitation, she reached in and she gave him the jewel. And in a few days, he came back. He said, "I want this priceless jewel, this gem. I want something else instead." And she said, "What is that, my dear friend?" He said, "I want what you have within you that did not hesitate to reach into that bag and give me the jewel. That's what I want." Each and every one of us has that pearl of great price, that gem, and that we're never going to outgive God. See? And when we're holding on to our stuff, energetically, when we realize that we are never going to outgive God, the universe smiles on that. And there's peace, and there's plenty, and there's abundance. But when we're holding on, and there's a biblical verse that's very confusing for a lot of people. To he that hath, much shall be given. And to he who hath not, even the little he hath, shall be taken from him. And as the verse goes, you think, gee, that's not fair. But you know, nothing's fair in the world. Did you notice? Nothing is fair. Right. Nothing's fair. Everything is by right of consciousness. It's not about fair. It's about right of consciousness. To he that hath, much shall be given. There's a generosity. There's a grace. There's an openness. To he that hath, much shall be given. But to he that hath not, even the little he hath, and is holding on to for dear life, shall be taken away. We will never outgive the universe. And it's about also, yes, being discerning, but also trusting. Trusting in this reality that when things look the worst, Dr. Holmes said, is the best time to do our spiritual treatments. When things look the worst, is the best way to kick in our faith and to know that I of myself can do nothing, but there is a power, there is an energy within me that can do the work. And when we are feeling stressed out and there's stuff that comes in, it's just such an opportunity to see, we got to let go of control. And of course, there are no control freaks here, right? We got to just really recognize that. And I want you to know, I thought I resigned from being general manager of the universe, but I guess last week I didn't. And it was really interesting because we're going into the Leisure Center next week. And we have an opportunity. There was a group that was renting the Leisure Center, the dance studio, the beautiful room. They were renting once a month. So Jasmine, who is the director there, she said, if they don't renew their contract, because I asked if we could go in permanently, because we love the room. And it's less money. That's always good, but it's not a step down, it's a step up. It's a beautiful room, and the energy is wonderful. So I filled out, I went 10 days ago or more, 2 weeks ago, and I filled it all out, and I said from the 21st, we want to be here in this room. And so, 5 days go by, I call up, the director says, well, the other director is thinking it over. Now, this is the person that's kind of given us a hard time, through various things. And I said, thinking it over, what's there to think over? We're a tenant, we're good, we're, at the street fair, we pay our rent at Wednesday Night Live. She goes, you are an excellent tenant. I love you. She's thinking it over. And I'm thinking, what is this about? So, interestingly enough, I get myself so stressed out that we don't hear, 10 days go by, and we need a place to land on the 21st. They have not gotten back to us about the film festival that's here at the Camelot. We need a place to land. So I call my goddaughter who works for the city, and she's a member of our congregation, Diana Shea, and I say, we are now in a crisis mode. We have nowhere to land for the 21st when we have to be out, and, this person is thinking it over. What is there to think over? You either, yes or no. Thinking it over, I don't get it. And so, Diana said, well, we're just going to know that it's all unfolding. She said a few other things, but, and so did I. And I said, all right. So she's called, and they said, yes, you can have it, of course, the 21st, as you did last year. So I had so stressed myself out, and I didn't feel good, and I just totally, I let the whole thing get out of perspective. And then I thought, you know what? She's thinking it over so she can work it out for us. So she's thinking it over. Wonderful. And I started just sending positive energy. And then Linda reminded me, this is a government, and this is the city, and they have to get, extra staffing to come in on Sundays, which, will happen. And I'd let it go. And I didn't even realize that I was, doing this to myself because I was so invested in the outcome. The other people, it just seems perfect. They didn't renew their contract. That means we can go in, right? Every Sunday. And, there is an unfoldment here. So no matter how evolved we think we are, when we start feeling stressed, it's like we've resigned as general manager of the universe, and then suddenly we've taken it up again, and we think that we're going to control the whole thing. But there is a divine plan, and there is a divine unfoldment. So, as the wise woman reaches into her bag and doesn't hesitate and gives this priceless gem, where this traveler thought, oh, I've got it made for the rest of my life with this gem, suddenly went within to the secret place of the Most High and thought, what is it in her that would allow her to reach into that bag, not hesitate, and give it to me? There is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. And what we create, we can recreate. And when so much is going on the planet, so many things, that we put the works with the faith. We are not ostriches in our way of life. We don't stick our head in the sand and say, oh yeah, there's no hunger, there's no dis-ease, there's no this, there's no that. We recognize that that's going on the planet. And I always send out my energy. I do what I can where I am with the tools that I have. And when we begin to heal ourselves and allow ourselves to recognize those areas that come up, and they come up because we're all subject to the human condition. We do all give our power away to something or someone outside of us. But what we learn is that these are opportunities to go within, to go deeper, to let's just rest under the Bodhi tree. Let's just let the stuff come up. Let all of the universe come up in whatever form it comes up and be in a high place where we will not come down. None of these things move me. None of them. And when we are in that place of peace and centeredness, we know that all things work together for good to them that love. And if we could love enough, we would be the strongest, most powerful energies in the universe. And as we let go and let God do what God does best, hey, we are that avenue and that channel of spirit, whatever we choose to call our higher power. This Wednesday night we're going to talk about all the world's great religions. But there is a golden thread. That golden thread in every great religion is love. The love that allows us to be uplifted from the human condition. The love that allows us to move beyond loss, limitation, scarcity, loss of loved ones, the things that go on. There is a power within us that allows us to rest under the Bodhi tree, to feel that light go on in such a magnificent way. I love what Julian was telling me, that he said, when he wanted work, it's like when we want something, it just seems to be out here. He said, I figured out how to get all the work and even more. And he goes, I went on vacation. He said, I was going to just take all this time for myself. And so I just, was saying to the universe, this is between you and I, and we're going to have some real together time. He said, my phone began ringing off the hook. I need this, I need that. Julian does home repair. And so I need, everything in the world. And he said, so I got it. And the recipe here really is, when we take our energy off over here, and we go within and we rest under the Bodhi tree, we are in demand. We create the space for people, places, and things to want our goods and services and our energy. And this is why I love our way of life, is that there are certain laws in the universe. It's called cause and effect. Remember, there is no sin but a mistake, and there is no punishment but a natural consequence of cause and effect. We believe that hell is a state of mind. Love the Greek story, about Texan went to Greece and looked down this huge cavernous, amazing volcano, and looked in and said, oh my God, it looks like hell. And the Greek guide said, oh my goodness, you Americans have been everywhere. everywhere, to hell and back, right? And we made it. Hell is a state of consciousness, and so is heaven. The fine line between heaven and hell is recognizing that we can really experience heaven on earth at this moment. My daughter is a social worker, and her master's degree is in human development. And one of my most favorite moments is when she was working her way through college, and she worked in a group home, and there was a little boy, and he needed this special medication because his whole intestinal tract was off kilter. He'd been through so much abuse. And, she was just really loving him and really acknowledging him. And one day, they chased him down to get his medicine down, forcing the medicine down. This liquid castor oil, because of his digestive system. She said, "We'll have none of that in my group home." She went into the kitchen, she got out the blender, she put in the milk, she put in the chocolate ice cream, the chocolate syrup, put the medication in, blended it up, put it in a glass and said, "Try this." He tasted it, goes, "I don't taste the medicine." She's doing the whole, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The love that helps the medicine go down. The energy that we don't have to chase anything down. We let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who hear that call, that answer, and are ready to go to the next level. We are in perfect peace. Our mind is stayed on what works, what is life-giving, and what is life-affirming. We each have that bag with that amazing, priceless gem. We reach out, we give it to each other, and the light only gets brighter, because a diamond, remember, is a piece of coal that made good under pressure. And it's under that pressure that we let our light so shine before one another that others are drawn into our light, into our energy field, and are healed and uplifted in our presence. God bless you. I love you. And where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is.